Hi guys, and welcome to today's show. In this video, we'll be discussing one of history's most famed revolutions, the Russian Revolution. Now, this was a pretty crazy event and was not exactly a simple one, so I'll try to dumb it down for you. The revolution came with a couple of key causes. The first one I'll talk about is complete and total unrest. The people were not happy with the monarchy. They had supreme power and made all laws without question. They were also fantastically wealthy and had no intention of sharing the money. This is kind of a problem because the rest of Russia at this time was dirt poor and it didn't exactly sit well with them, seeing their king in the lap of luxury. Because of this massive division of wealth came the giant class divide. While the poor people of the Russian Empire were starting to live terrible lives and the rich people were living in a perfect world and had no problems, there was no in-between and there was no way of moving up.
Now, this doesn't sound very fun, does it? Well, that's because it probably wasn't. To make matters even worse, at the time of this absolute starvation of the people, there was also an economic crisis going on, and they were fighting a war. The Russian army was taking part in World War I, and they were doing badly. They were losing lots of lives, and money was being poured into a war that they didn't want to be a part of. The peasants in the lower class desperately wanted to stay out of the war because they had to fight. But the monarchy, who didn't have to fight at all, forced them into it, and it didn't make them very happy.
Around the time when all this unrest was happening, a friendly old face walked back into town. Vladimir Lenin, a radical ideas man and soon to be the face of the revolution, came back from his exile, and he returned with a lot of new ideas. He saw the unhappiness in Russia, and he figured he could do something about it immediately. And he did.
With all of these ideas of revolution being planted in the Russian citizens' heads, they decided they wanted to go through with it. And there's one main event that kicked off the whole thing. It was the February Revolution. It took place as a women's march for bread in Petrograd, but it turned into a full-blown protest of the Russian government. That was not just taken on by women, but the poor people and soldiers of the city. Because of this event, Tsar Nicholas II stepped down from his throne, ending the 300-year Romanov reign of the Russian monarchy. Though that quelled some unrest, it didn't really do much to stop the revolution. People were still pretty mad at the government, and even the king stepping down didn't really do much to fix it at that point. After this event, the government just slowly starts to fall apart. They put in a provisional government that was supposed to be there until they elected a new leader, but they never got around to an election, so they just kept supporters of the crown and government. This led to more protests breaking out from the Russian people, which led up to one final event, the Bolshevik Revolution.
This was a crazy event where the Bolsheviks took over Petrograd. Citizens were stationed at key points throughout the city and completely took it over and almost had sole power. This allowed for them to fight off the Russian soldiers who were ordered to come and open fire on them. Luckily, said soldiers also wanted a change in government, so mostly they switched sides or straight up went home. This allowed the Bolsheviks, with Lenin as their leader, to strongly take over the capital and the government of Russia.
Now it's safe to say that this little takeover did not end cleanly. There were protests over the next couple months, which caused a full-out civil war where 2 million soldiers were killed. And strangely enough, this new government was not any better at sharing the wealth, which meant those poor people were still dying. And over the course of the revolution and afterwards, over 9 million people died from famine and disease. Once they found their power, the Bolsheviks did not want to have any people to challenge them, so they cold-bloodedly murdered every member of the royal family and nobility. I will say, this is not the nicest thing to do, but it did solve the problem, and they had no fear of royal takeover. This revolution essentially caused the communist Russia we see today. After Lenin claimed the government, he changed his party's name to the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was the government of Russia for the next several decades. But the last big consequence of the revolution was Lenin's successor, Joseph Stalin. Stalin went on to lead Russia through the Second World War and was the developer of the USSR, which took over most of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. This was a big part of Russia's history and caused a lot of problems for Russia and its people and the people who they took over.
Now, you can clearly see this revolution was not just an overthrow of the government, but it overthrew many countries' political landscapes and rewrote borders all over Europe. It caused the spread of communism and affected global political systems and societies for decades thereafter. This revolution was no joke, and we can still clearly see the consequences to this day. Alright guys, that's enough for today. I hope you learned a little something, and we'll see you next time.